Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's going on? Shakur Stevenson versus Jamel Herring is official. October 23rd in Atlanta. We did talk about this extensively on Merlot Fridays a few weeks ago, but I wanted to touch on this because, of course, it's September now. We're getting closer to the fight, and this is one of the most interesting fights of the year for me. This is one of the fights that I'm looking forward to the most. This is a huge step up for Shakur Stevenson. It's a huge step up for Jamel Herring as well. But, you know, Herring has been in there with Carl Frampton. He's been through adversity, took a couple of losses, been stopped before. You know what I'm saying? And he's an older guy with a little bit more experience. And I think he's just mentally prepared for this moment because he's been waiting to get to this moment for his whole career. I mean, he's a world champion now, and now he's getting the opportunity to face one of the most highly touted, one of the younger guys in boxing with great potential, somebody that a lot of people, including myself, look at to be, you know, possibly a future great in the sport, somebody who really has those generational skills of an Andre Ward or maybe a Floyd Mayweather or something like that. This guy, Shakur Stevenson, is immensely talented and very, very skilled, and he got the mentality as well. But I think this fight is going to reveal a lot about both guys. But what I wanted to talk about particularly is what type of energy I think Jamel Herring will bring out of Shakur Stevenson. Now, you got a guy like Shakur Stevenson who is extremely skilled, very technical, southpaw, does everything right, does all the little things right. Great jab, goes to the body. He one of the best fighters in boxing when it comes to controlling distance. Ring generalship is top tier. Ring IQ is on one of the highest levels. I mean, when you just look at the fundamental and the technical aspect of boxing, you're gonna struggle to find 5 guys that are more technical and more skilled than Shakur Stevenson, just based off of the fundamentals, the skill, and the chess match master boxer aspect of the game. It's not a lot of guys who are on the level of Shakur Stevenson. Even at this young age of 23, 24, this guy is just on another level. And really the only thing that he's missing is the experience. He's a silver medalist in the Olympics, but as far as on the pros, he's just missing the experience of being in top fight after top fight versus elite competition after elite competition. Yes, he's a former world champion in the division at 126. He's now fighting at 130. This is, I think, his 3rd fight at 130. And another thing that you gotta consider in this matchup is that Jamel Herring and Shakur Stevenson, these guys are friends. These guys, have trained together, have sparred together. Keep in mind that Jamel Herring trains with Bomac, which is the coach of Terrence Crawford, and he trains out of the gym that Terrence Crawford owns. You know what I'm saying? These guys both come up under tutelage of Terrence Crawford. Shakur Stevenson looks at Terrence Crawford as a big brother or mentor. He gives him a lot of game and really just shows him a lot of different small things, in the ring and outside the ring, and just really kind of showing them the ropes. And that's what you call pedigree right there, when you able to rub shoulders with Terrence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? Championship, elite, all-time great type of skill set. You look at Bomac, pedigree. You know what I'm saying? Like being around these type of guy, Andre Ward, Shakur Stevenson, that's pedigree. You know what I'm saying? But both of these guys come up under, the same type of crowd. They both have been around each other for quite some time, and they know each other. Like I said, these dudes have sparred together, so it's gonna be familiarity there between these two guys, and a lot of bragging rights is gonna be on the table. If you look at the history between these two, at one point both guys seemed like they were, we not gonna fight each other. That's my homeboy type shit. I remember when Shakur Stevenson first moved up. Shakur always had that attitude like I'll fight anybody, and it don't matter who it is. But when they mentioned Jamel Herring, it seemed like they were both on some, well, that's the homie type shit. I want to go get Oscar Valdez. Well, if you remember, Shakur Stevenson been chasing Oscar Valdez, Josh Warrington. He been chasing all these dudes down for the longest. Miguel Burchelt. But for some reason, Bob Arum and Top Rank, they haven't been able to get these guys in the ring with Shakur Stevenson. And to be quite honest with you, Oscar Valdez, at least as of right now, and in recent past, Oscar Valdez didn't really show any interest in fighting Shakur Stevenson. So it's kind of like Shakur Stevenson's hand has been forced to fight his homeboy because he wants a title shot. He's in a new division. He's at 130. This guy is one of those guys that want to show that he the best. He feel like he got something to prove, and he thinks that his skill level is on that level, and is upper echelon, and he's a force to be reckoned with, and he want to get in the ring and prove this. So it's like I can't get any of the other guys in the ring, so I gotta get in there with my boy Jamel Herring. So Shakur Stevenson, once the fight became somewhat realistic, Shakur Stevenson took to social media and started, throwing shots at Jamel like, look, man, I need that belt off for you. Yeah, you the homie, but shit, I need that belt. What's happening? Jamel Herring seemed like he wasn't too interested at first. And, Herring said he wanted to go unify with Valdez, which you can't blame Herring for doing that because, it's a unification match. Valdez is the more proven fighter, so you probably get more stripes out beating Valdez, plus you get another belt. You probably gonna get more money on your next person. It just raise up your ranks. But Shakur Stevenson wasn't really hearing that. He was like, man, this dude's scared. I'm the mandatory now for the WBO. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta see me. And Jamel Herring, I guess he felt like enough was enough. He like, man, look, I ain't gonna let this young dude just keep talking to me like that. Keep in mind, Jamel Herring 35, Shakur Stevenson like 23, 24 years old. So I can only imagine that Herring is like, man, this little dude thinking he just gonna punk me out my spot. I ain't having that. So Jamel Herring said, fuck it, we gonna make the fight happen. And here we are today. We have a fight that's official for October 23rd, and it's gonna be a big fight. But the reason why I wanted to give you kind of like a brief history of the background between these two guys, just to kind of set the stage to show that this fight is, number one, it's a title fight. It's a lot on the line for both guys. It's a big step up for each guy. I believe as of right now, this is the best fighter that each guy has faced on their resume. Shakur Stevenson is the best guy that Herring would have been in the ring with, and vice versa at this point in their careers. And on top of that, it's kind of like a personal thing. There is bragging rights. I saw a clip on Instagram where Shakur, I think Jamel Herring and one of his guys, they walked into the gym while Shakur Stevenson was training, and Shakur Stevenson was talking to him like, damn, bruh, I'm mad you ain't bring my belt with you. You know what I'm saying?
Next time I see you, search for his gun, where's Polar? Next time I see you, we on his ass where his shows at.
I want my belt.
Come up in here without my money.
It's a whole lot of shit talking that's going on between these two. And if you look at the history with Shakur Stevenson, people say, yeah, you talented and you skilled, but you don't get no knockouts. You don't have no knockout power. You ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. And Shakur Stevenson, based off his last performance, he's been listening to that. He graded himself like a C+ on his last performance because even though arguably he won every round, he felt like he just didn't do good enough. And he was very economical in that fight, didn't throw enough punches, wasn't as aggressive as he could have been. And I think in this fight, Herring will bring the absolute best out of Shakur Stevenson. Herring will bring a different dimension of Shakur Stevenson's game. He gonna bring a different level of intensity, number one, because Shakur Stevenson is gonna need that to beat Jamel Herring. In my opinion, this is a 50-50 fight. I'm edging Shakur Stevenson. I think on paper he's a more skilled guy, but I'm calling it 50-50 because, number one, Herring is a champion. He's a bigger guy. He's more physically stronger than Shakur Stevenson. And on top of that, this is the best fighter that he's been in the ring with so far on the pro level under the lights. So Herring is coming off of the best win in his career versus Frampton. Shakur Stevenson is going to have to really fight this guy if he want to win. I think he'll have some difficulty if he just go in there trying to, just trying to keep Herring at distance and just do just enough to get the victory. I think Herring going to make Shakur Stevenson throw punches. He going to put him in positions where Shakur Stevenson going to have to fight to get out of those situations. And I believe Shakur Stevenson will and he can rise to the occasion. Now, I'm not going to pick a winner right now, but this is going to be, I give Shakur Stevenson an edge, but this is going to be a huge test for both guys, but especially for Shakur Stevenson because of everything that's on the line. Bragging rights, you don't want to lose to this dude because y'all know each other. You know if he whoop your ass, you never going to hear the end of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And y'all very familiar with each other, you know what I'm saying? So you probably know some tricks that he like to do and he knows some tricks that you like to do. So at this point, it's going to come down to the war of attrition. It's going to come down to skills for sure, but it's definitely going to be some heart and some nuts involved. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers going to let their nuts drop and motherfuckers going to have to show what type of heart they got in this fight. And for all the people that have been waiting to see Shakur Stevenson let it all hang out and just fight, you know what I'm saying, and just really see what he got, what type of combinations he can throw, what type of dog he got, you gonna see that in this fight. You definitely will see that in this fight, and that's why I'm excited to see this. I'm very intrigued because this matchup is a great stylistic matchup, and then like I said, we just went over the history. It's like, bruh, this is a real fight right here. This a real fight. It's a lot on the line, man. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Do y'all agree that Jamel Herring will bring the best out of Shakur Stevenson, or do you think it'll just be an easy fight for Shakur Stevenson, or do you think, shit, Herring just gonna wash him? Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. How y'all see this matchup going? Contender regime, boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.